Alright, welcome back to another art video. So this time we have an illustration of Kasumi Yoshizawa from Persona 5 Royal, and she also appeared in that Star Ocean Animesis collab with Royal. And her 3D model in that actually came in handy for when I was referencing her character. But I'm actually quite impressed with how well this one turned out, because recently I've been doing a whole lot of cell shading instead of rendering, which in case you don't know, the render art style is usually what you see in fan art. It's like this multiple shadow layer art style, I guess, whereas cell shading is just the style that you see in anime. So I've been doing cell shading for quite a while, so I'm kind of surprised that I was actually able to do a render like this. But I have been practicing painting separately, so I've been getting better at color, I've been getting better at blending, backgrounds, that sort of stuff, so that very much translates to the rendering. I just hadn't put it into practice for like a month and a half. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the color. I think her hair, the color in her hair is a little flat. I think I need to figure out how to make that look better, but I've always had trouble with hair. I really don't understand how it works. You have people who can make it look so nice, I can't. But for the most part, I think where I went wrong here is the actual drawing. So the color looks nice, the drawing could have been a lot better. If you look at the buttons on her jacket, for instance, they look completely wrong. Every single button has like a different size and they all point in different directions. I didn't really pay a lot of attention to that, so I think that was the problem. But, you know, even then I could have gone back and tried and fixed it, but I don't think I would have been able to do it right. And I think that might be because my understanding of perspective might not be that good yet. And if you take a look at that chain that she's wearing around her waist, the rose looks fine, the sheath also looks fine. Then again, I guess you can't really see much of the sheath, but the chain is what really bothers me. It doesn't really look like a solid metal chain. It looks like if you pull it, it just falls right apart. And I'm not really sure where I went wrong, if it's the color or if it's the actual drawing. It's definitely the drawing, but I'm not sure if the color also has something to do with it. And the rapier she's holding in her right hand too, you can't really see much of it. I intentionally did that because I wasn't going to draw the whole thing. But it also lacks a little bit of three-dimensionality, so I really need to get on that perspective practice to get better at drawing weapons and metallic things. And if you look at the choker that she's wearing around her neck, objects like those chokers, bracelets, thigh highs, those wrap around an object, so depending on how you draw them, it could kill the sense of three-dimensionality. If you draw it too straight, it makes the object underneath it look straight as well. So if you look at that choker, it doesn't really look like it's wrapping around her neck. It looks like it's just straight, and that kills the three-dimensional look of her neck, I suppose. So that's also something I should pay attention to. Her expression also looks a little off to me. She looks a little psycho, and I'm not sure why that is. I had a bit of trouble drawing her mouth, and I think that kind of contributed to the expression. I think for the most part the problem is her eyes, maybe her eyebrows as well. But I really haven't studied expressions, and I should really start getting to that. And her ear also looks completely wrong, but you know, don't pay attention to that. And something else that really bothers me about this might be the line art, but I'm actually not quite sure, because usually I have my little hypothesis. You know, like her expression might be her eyes, might be her eyebrows. But with the line art, I really don't know what I'm doing wrong, because it looks so out of place. If you look at her left hand, the one that she's holding out, the line art on that just looks so out of place. I guess I could have blended it in with another layer on top of it, and then I could have colored the line art. But that would have just made the line art practically invisible, and I don't want to do that, because if I look at the line art on some other people's artworks, you can actually see the line art, but it doesn't stand out. Like, it's there, it adds something to the drawing, but it doesn't stand out. But here you can clearly see the line art in certain areas, and it just completely distracts me. So I'm not sure what I can do there. Maybe it has to do with line width or line weight. Like, I need to make some lines thicker in certain areas. It might be that. but I don't really know, so that's something I'm definitely gonna have to research. If any of you guys know what's wrong with that, be sure to inform me. On a positive note, I'm actually pretty happy with how the leather jacket turned out, because, you know, I did directly reference the original art, so I tried to copy that as closely as possible. But I'm surprised I was actually able to copy it that closely. Of course, Soejima Shigenori, I think he did Kasumi's art. It might have been somebody else, but I think he's the one who did it. But regardless, the person who did her art is just incredible, and I'm nowhere near as good as them yet. But I think I did a pretty good job at doing that leather jacket. Most of my issues lie with the drawing, but I do have some gripes about the background, because I tried going with a blue fire kind of special effect, and I really suck at drawing effects. I know somebody made a book about manga and anime effects. I think it contains like lightning strikes, water splashes, fire, that sort of stuff. Haven't gone through it yet, so I think I definitely need to do that in the near future, because this effect looks absolutely horrible. Like, I guess it fills the background, it's not just a white backdrop, so you know, it does add some visual interest, but it could have been much better. Well, regardless, I'm quite satisfied with the end result. I hope you guys are too. I'm definitely going to keep studying, see what level I can get at. And recently I actually started learning a semi-realistic style as well. That's usually the style that certain Korean artists like to use, as well as Western artists. A lot of Western artists like to use that style as well, instead of the usual anime. So I've been posting some of those practice drawings on my Twitter if you want to go check those out. But I guess that's it for this video, so I guess I'll catch you all later. Peace!